Welcome to the Lowland League Catchup. It's myself, Chris, and today I'm joined by Shaun Spedding. How are you doing, Shaun?
Not doing too bad. Seem to have got a bit of a cough, so I'm going to try and keep it under control a bit today. But early morning this morning, so we're obviously recording this in the evening. So I'm looking forward to getting this done so that I can get myself to bed. Very tired. How are you doing yourself?
Yeah, not too bad. But before we start, just a wee bit of a shout out to Back On Side. It's at Back On Side on Twitter. They're a Scottish charity supporting those affected by mental health, disabilities and challenging life circumstances. They support a lot of professional and ex-professional footballers, and the reason we're talking about them is because it's the numbers increasing. Aaron Connolly of Faulthouse United, a lot of the guys will know him. Obviously he was formerly at East Kilbride and BSC Glasgow in the Lowland League. He told his story recently on Radio Clyde. You might have heard it, the guys listening in. Quite heavy stuff, obviously. Anything to do with mental health. And Lee Mayer and Paul McGrillen's family at Motherwell were recently on Rock Sport talking about mental health and obviously shared their stories. But the reason we're giving them a wee bit of a shout out is because obviously they do really important work, and especially around our area, Shaun, there's been a lot of young men taking their lives recently over the last few months, and it's obviously a difficult thing to talk about, but we're just hoping that just us talking about it will raise awareness and the work these guys do. And if anyone does have wants to reach out or anything, obviously there's support there.
I think it's good that it's getting the airtime it deserves. Even out with sport and football in general, it's a big thing, and with social media the way it is just now, there's a lot of pressure on people, and you hear about these stories as well, so it's quite sad to hear, but at the same time it's the awareness side of thing, it's good, and it's good to see so much support out there, and there's so many channels that you can go to nowadays if you are looking for support, and it's not so much taboo to go out and say that you need help or you need to talk. So
yep.
It's really good, and these guys seem to be doing a really good job as well. So yeah, from an awareness standpoint, it's brilliant to see.
Yeah, absolutely. The support is there if anyone needs it. We appreciate that it can be difficult to talk to people and stuff, but there's nothing more important than your life. You know what I mean? And you've got to applaud guys like Aaron Connolly, who's obviously fighting his own battles with things, being an ambassador for Back On Side, who are just doing a fantastic job. So a wee bit of a shout out there for Back On Side, and obviously the great work that Aaron Connolly does, as well as other people raising awareness. I noticed Ricky Hatton had done a bit of a video more recently about his issues with mental health and stuff. So yeah, more awareness is great, and we obviously hope if anyone is struggling in that, there's definitely support out there for you. So we did actually get a question this week from Ryan Norrie. Question for the pod: how do you see the landscape changing in the Lowland League over the next 8 to 10 years? How many of the current 16 do you think will still be in the league? And basically, how drastically different could it look in the future with promotion and relegation on the cards? Any thoughts on that, Shaun?
First of all, I think it's a cracking question about how the landscape's going to change in the next 8 to 10 years, which is a massive length of time. Just look at how much the landscape's changed over the last 2 years. It's been absolutely huge. For me, if I was to put my neck out there and say what I thought or how I think the Lowland League will look in 8 to 10 years, I think it'll be very different. Again, I could quite easily see half of this league no longer being in the Lowland League, whether that's through the bottom 4 or 5 sides dropping out and down to the East of Scotland and South of Scotland leagues, as well as potentially 4 or 5 sides getting promoted into SPFL 2. And that can only be good for Scottish football as a whole. It's going to make your SPFL more competitive, and it's going to make the Lowland League even more competitive, and same with the East of Scotland Premier. I think it's likely as well that 8 to 10 years it'll be a thing of the past talking about automatic relegation out of League 2. I think that's something that'll be a big change as far as the landscape goes. I think this playoff chance, a survival that your League 2 sides have if they finish at the bottom of the table, I think that'll be a thing of the past as well. But no, a really good question, and I think just looking at the last 2 years, the next 8 to 10 is going to be massive. How do you see it looking? Do you think you'll still be doing the catch up in 8 to 10 years?
Well, Shaun, I think I've discussed it with yourself and Moz. I tend to stay away from these questions. You know how much I really don't like them. Nothing against Ryan, obviously. It's I said we would answer it for him, but I'm not too much of a hypothetical person. I know other sort of podcasts and other sort of radio shows have talked about this question. The reason I don't like it is because I think we're doing pretty well in terms of structure in the Lowland League. 16 teams play each other twice a season in the league. I'm a big advocate for expanding the leagues above, League 2, League 1, possibly even the Championship. I don't think that the Premiership will ever change because obviously, the fact that Rangers and Celtic, but we've got 16 teams in this league. It's really competitive. Teams play each other twice, as I mentioned, a season, and then you've got the likes of 10 teams in league football playing each other 4 or 5 times a season. It's so I think we're kind of a bit more exciting on that front, and that's as I say, I think they should really look at to extend the leagues above. But I think we're doing really well in terms of basically what you're saying. I think we could have a bit of a mixture. We could have teams going up, League 2 teams coming down. We could have East of Scotland teams coming up. It's going to be completely different in 8 to 10 years. The progress of this league has been fantastic, and I think it's going to get to a point where there's going to be, look at Cove Rangers obviously just coming into the league. I know it was the Highland League, but fantastic start to their campaign. Edinburgh City have done well. It's going to come to a point where that it's going to have to be automatic relegation from League 2, I think, because we're doing so well in the Lowland League, and in fairness the Highland League are doing good as well. So there's a thing there where it'll be basically whoever wins the playoff between the Lowland League and Highland League will probably end up going to League 2 in the future. But a mixture of teams, probably League 2 teams as well as some guys possibly still in the Lowland League in the next 10 years. But you never know. It's a long time, and I don't know if we'll still be doing this in 8 to 10 years.
Exactly. It's not just I know we cover the Lowland League, but it's not only the Lowland League catch-up that you're likely going to be able to see a lot of change over the next 8 to 10 years. There's the Highland League as well, which you touched on there.
Yeah.
Currently, they have their set league, and there's no relegation out of that league. I could see that changing in the next 8 to 10 years as well, which is only going to make the Highland League more competitive as well. So, I think I'm the same as, well, I don't know, I'm not the same as you as far as hypotheticals go. I love a wee cheeky hypothetical. But even taking that out of the equation, I think just looking at fact and what's happened over the last few years, I think it'll be an interesting few years to come. Cracking question.
Ryan did also ask, what do you see the West region of the Scottish Juniors ever joining the Pyramid? I would like them to. I think it would be pretty good in terms of West versus East, like it was in the old sort of junior style. But for me, I think they probably want to be on par. I don't know if this is true, but I think they probably want to be higher than the East of Scotland, which I don't think will be, I don't think they'll ever agree to that, because it's a bit unfair that East of Scotland teams are fighting out trying to get into the Lowland League, and there's West Junior teams that might want to be a step above them without really ever fighting for it and stuff. And I think a lot of I know that's not every West Junior team, but I think a lot of them like being in their own wee bubble. That's my take on it. I mean, no disrespect to the Scottish Juniors, but that's just my take. I think they like the sort of locality of a lot of the games, and obviously the rivalries and stuff. I don't know if there's a lot of teams that really want to be part of the pyramid, or they're maybe not ready to be a part of the pyramid at this point in time.
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with that, because do you know what, they like being in their bubble because it's a brilliant setup that they've got there. The West Juniors is highly competitive, and right now they quite enjoy being in their own sort of setup. I think a big thing for those guys is going to be seeing how the East of Scotland and the Lowland League develops over the coming 8 to 10 years, because if asset does progress and it becomes more competitive and the coverage increases, I think it's going to become more appealing for your West of Scotland junior sides sort of to be interested in joining the pyramid. And I think when it does roll around, it will need to be the same sort of format with the East of Scotland, League West, both of them feeding into the Lowland, and in exactly the same way that the Lowland and the Highland sides, there's a bit of disparity at the moment, and we'll probably see that sort itself out if and when the West Juniors become the West of Scotland and join the pyramid. If that were to happen, there probably would be some disparity until things sort of evened out and you saw some of the stronger West sides get promoted into the Lowland League and perhaps some of the weaker East sides drop back into the East of Scotland. But that's inevitable, and change is always, it's not going to happen overnight. But I think what happens with that depends on how successful this still very young Lowland League sort of concept and pyramid scheme is over the next few years.
Absolutely, and obviously we've got the South of Scotland also in that sort of wee bit of a a feeder league, if you will, and yeah, they're also competing with the East of Scotland as well. So I think it'll be interesting, but certainly, as I mentioned, I'm an advocate for looking at the actual league football. I think I don't know if a lot of fans would agree, but certainly I don't think I would want to see the same teams play each other four or five times a season. I think it gets a wee bit stale at that point, unless it's obviously a rivalry or a derby. So that's why I quite like the format of the Lowland League, because you're only ever going to be home and away unless you obviously get a team in the cup and whatnot. We'll move on, get into our fixtures. We'll start with Friday's fixture. Do you want to take us through it, Shaun?
Yeah, two teams going into this one. Cumbernauld Colts, always a challenging side to face, particularly at the beginning of the season, and BSC Glasgow, who have been hugely successful over the last couple of years, but they were coming off the back of a 3-game stretch over the period of six days, so it was touted to be quite an interesting Lowland League tie, this one. It was 24 minutes in when Colts probably should have took the lead after Colts ball that hit off the bar. Ball came back out to one of the Colts guys, then hit the post on the third strike close to bar, but he was able to make the save there to keep it at 0-0. 35 minutes in, it was almost a goal for BSC. It was Martin Greene that was able to turn and almost catches Greer off balance, but the Colts keeper does well to recover and claw the ball off the line. So a couple of chances in the first half there, but it did go into half time 0-0, and there was chances for both sides in that first half as well, but I think both sides would have been happy to go in at 0-0, or at least still in with a chance to win the game. In the second half, it was 9 minutes in that Martin Greene was able to poke the ball through to Tom Orr, but under intense pressure, Orr launched forward, and the strike, it basically goes right across the face of the goal there, and there was nobody there just to tap it in, which was a bit frustrating. A couple of minutes later, at the other end of the pitch, Stephen Barr made a really good save with a point blank block from right. Yeah, it was one that you kind of thought was going in when you saw the opportunity, but fantastic save. Shortly after that, on the 64th minute, it was actually the Colts that took the first goal, so it was a wee bit of sloppy defending, to be honest, from BSC. One of the defenders tried to play it back to the goalkeeper. Colts were able to slip in, cut it back to Fraser Team, who, quite cool under pressure, surrounded by a couple of BSC guys, was able to slot it into the corner and make it 1-0 to Colts. 10 minutes later, and it was Jamie Hamilton who had a low strike that was able to, it basically made its way right through the defence to Jamie McCormack, who was able to just pop it into the back of the net to make it 1-1. It looked very likely that the game was going to finish with both teams taking a share of the spoils, but it was into stoppage time that Colts were able to steal a goal. It was Martin Wright that was able to turn in a Colts free kick that was conceded just outside the box to give Cumbernauld a very welcome 3 points against BSC, and obviously for BSC, very good side. That's 1 win, 1 draw and 1 loss out of their first 3 games, so yeah, very interesting start to the season.
To be honest, I think BSC were very, very unlucky for Colts' first goal. I think it was a foul, definitely should have been a free kick in my opinion, but that's the way it is sometimes. I don't think we could be too harsh on BSC Glasgow, as you mentioned. Obviously 3 games in 6 days, it was always going to be tough. We know Cumbernauld Colts are pretty good early doors. I wouldn't be too worried with BSC losing that game. I think there's going to be other teams that we're going to, that we expect to do well in the league, and Colts certainly at Broadwood Stadium early doors are certainly a decent team, and I think it's a really good start to the season for them. Other than that, I don't really have too much to say about the game itself. I think it could have went either way by the sound of things. Certainly both keepers were busy, both teams had their chances, so yeah, but in terms of the result, I think Glasgow, I think they'll just want to move on and get back to business.
It's early days for BSC, so I think they played some tough opponents in their first 3 games, and over a short span of time they've still looked really strong in those games, so I don't think BSC should be too worried.
Yep, definitely. We'll move on to Bonnyrigg Rangers versus University of Stirling. I had a lot of things to say about this game on Twitter afterwards because of the reaction, but University of Stirling beat Bonnyrigg Rangers 2-1 at Shielfield Park. Stirling Uni opened the score in the 19th minute. It was a great strike by Jason Jarvis. Ozzy did crack the bar for Bonnyrigg Rangers with a fierce shot, but it wasn't until the 77th minute that Grant Rose pulled them level. But 4 minutes later, on the 81st minute, it was a penalty for University of Stirling with Craig Brown scoring from the penalty spot. Something they didn't really do much last season. But for me, I did have a wee look at it, and I'm really sorry to Kevin Waugh, but for me it was definitely a penalty. 2-footed, a bit of a dangerous one on a standing leg. I think he just caught the Stirling Uni player. But my thing about this one was the reaction to it. It seemed all sort of doom and gloom, and words like embarrassing result and stuff. And it really kind of annoys me sometimes when people sort of look down just because there's a moniker of University of Stirling or Edinburgh Uni, and last season certainly Edisport. These teams are all Lowland League teams, and I think they have to be respected a wee bit more. Certainly has been a bit of a decline for Bonnyrigg Rangers, and they probably did expect, well, this is going to be the one that's going to get us the first win. But University of Stirling have got a really good side, and as I mentioned, really good players that have played at higher levels as well, in terms of youth teams and the SPFL and whatnot. I don't think they deserve to be disrespected. It was just the overall scope. I'm not pointing this at one person, but I just thought the reaction, or the overreaction rather, was a bit much. Certainly 81st minute penalty, what can you really do? I mean, it's not like they were beaten 6-0, and in terms of where these teams place, I mean, I reckon they're probably both going to be around mid-table, so for me it's not an embarrassing result, and I wouldn't really be too concerned on the Bonnyrigg Rangers point of view. I know it's a bit of a shock to the system, if you will, but I'm not really too concerned about Bonnyrigg Rangers, unless they obviously, there's some fans that might have expectations that they're going for the title, but looking at the strength of their team, I think they're evenly matched with a University of Stirling in my point of view. I was a bit critical early doors, Shaun, this yourself, of Ian Little, the manager. I still have my doubts about him, and it's based off last season with Whitehill Welfare. But to me, I think Ian and the boys deserve a chance. They're a new team put together. They've got a lot of good players that I rate, but they need time to gel, and it's simple as that. I don't think people should be hanging them out to dry and this early in the season. But in fairness, it is a fantastic result for University of Stirling, and obviously getting a penalty goal as well. So, what are your thoughts, Shaun?
No, absolutely. Like, first and foremost, I think it's cracking to see them, scoring that penalty and getting that monkey off their back nice and early, because I think they definitely dropped some points last season with the performance on the penalty front. But yeah, as for sort of the reaction to the games, I'd agree that it was quite boisterous about how this was an embarrassing result. I think a lot of it boils down to a club with Berwick's history. I think any uni team that they go up against, I think it's going to be another sort of part of their history that they're not going to like. I totally agree that Stirling Uni are a tremendous outfit. They were nowhere near the bottom of the table last season, and I don't think any of us have mentioned them when we've been talking about sort of what we think the bottom of the table is going to look like this year. And I wasn't surprised by the result by any stretch, but Berwick, a team with a lot of history there, I think outside one or two, or maybe two or three teams within the Lowland League, I think every loss is going to be seen as a bit of a disappointing loss when they roll back a few years to where they were. I think it's going to be a tough one for a lot of the guys at Berwick to swallow for a little while until they find their feet. And do you know what? That's like you say, they're going to have to be given time. Managers don't get seasons, neither do players. But Berwick are going to need, they're going to need some time to find their feet as just a club in general, before they can think about challenging for the Lowland League and moving back up to SPFL again. So it's definitely a disappointing loss for them, but I'm not surprised. It's Chris and the boys at Stollers, they do a fantastic job, and it shouldn't come as a surprise to anyone that they were able to go out there and steal the points. And do you know what? Credit to them as well, because they're not even at full strength. It's still August, so we had our reservations after they lost a couple of big players during pre-season, so well done to those guys. But Berwick, it's going to be disappointing, I think, regardless. Like, no disrespect to whoever they play, I think it's going to take a while for them to adjust. Bonnyrigg travelled to Christagillis Park to face Civil Service Strollers, a couple of teams that I think we've all got quite high hopes for this season. They're perhaps going to be a tier below the guys that are challenging for the title this season, but they're going to be right up there, and they're likely to steal some points from everybody in the league. Couple of quite evenly matched sides as well. I think you shouted me out on Twitter for not pointing out how exciting this game was.
I must have jinxed it, mate.
But quite rightly so as well, because well, do you know, for two teams evenly matched, a draw's a fair result. So on the Twitter front, it was a bit of a quiet one, but there wasn't a great deal to report in the first half, and the first half was goalless. Neither keeper really getting called into too much action as the two sides sort of felt each other out to see how the game was going to go. But in the second half, it only took 10 minutes for the home side to break up the pitch. So some strong shouts for a penalty for Bonnyrigg, but it was Mayor that scored for Civil first to make it 1-0. Bonnyrigg, after another sort of half an hour, they had a third strong shout for a spot kick as well, and this time it was a linesman running to the corner flag, but the referee didn't agree with the decision, so it remained 1-0 to Civil at that point. Looked like Civil were going to go away and take the 3 points in a hard fought match, but on the 89th minute there was a ball into the box, and it was Young who was able to tower over everyone to head into the back of the net and steal a point for Bonnyrigg at the close. A couple of chances from both sides after that actually ended with a red card in stoppage time to Faye after he was shown his second yellow, given his marching orders. But overall, a share of the points for both sides, and I'm sure this early in the season both sides are going to be happy to take that. It's two sides that are, they're still undefeated after 3 games, which is a nice tagline to have next to you after 3 games in a competitive, and they've both had some good games already this season. So
I actually thought Civil might nick this one. I don't know why, I just had a feeling, and they were pretty close, but Bonnyrigg did have their chances, and obviously they felt a wee bit aggrieved at the penalty shouts. I noticed they did mention that they enjoyed the game management by the Strollers. I think that's well, I've been to Christagillis a few times, I think you too as well, Shaun. If a ball goes over the fence, I don't know if you're going to get it back quickly. I think that's what they were talking about, maybe a wee bit of time wasting or something there, from what I gathered. But it's an excellent result. I've said I believe Strollers have a better team this season. I do believe that, and I think you're probably right. These two teams are going to be in the second tier of just behind the likes of Kelty, East Kilbride, teams like that. It's going to be difficult, but I don't think both these teams would be too concerned drawing, because they're both going to be up there towards the top end of the table come the end of the season, from what we've seen so far. So Dalbeattie versus Gallifreydine Rovers at Islecroft Stadium. Just a wee note, I know I wasn't on the last pod or the midweek pod. Dalbeattie did look really good against East Kilbride. I kind of expected them to to go out and really try and get a result here, but Gallagher did get the win. 3 games, no points and no goals does not make for good reading for Dalbeattie Star. It was an error-ridden first half from both teams, really, but 35 minutes, Danny Galbraith collected possession and burst through the centre of the Star defence. But Kevin Cowie appeared to get himself between the player and the ball. Home fans would say he just eased Galbraith off the ball, whereas away fans would argue that it was enough contact to award a penalty. Unfortunately for Star, the referee went with the away fans' opinion, and Galbraith sent Vinnie Parker the wrong way from 12 yards in the 35th minute. The closest Dalbeattie came to an equaliser was in the 77th minute when Dean Brotherston met an in-swinging Lewis Sloan corner with a powerful near-post header, but unbelievably the ball smacked off the underside of the bar and fell to a defender who cleared the danger. Dalbeattie certainly had their chances, but from what I've, from their reporting, they gave Gala a game, but lacked composure in front of goal. One thing I've got to say, just we'll mention Dalbeattie obviously, but I think I personally I probably have to apologise to Gala because I've maybe underestimated them. Certainly not give them the credit that I deserved, but it sounds to me like it probably wasn't the best game, having both teams playing midweek, so there's maybe a wee bit of rustiness there, but certainly Gala have done something which is really important at this league, is they've maybe not played well, but they've went out and got the result, albeit obviously from the penalty spot. Dalbeattie, again, it's too early to tell. It is concerning that they've went 3 games, no points and no goals, but I still believe they've got a bit of a stronger team this season. I think that will, that's not going to go on forever. I don't think they're going to have the same season as last season, and I think they will, bounce back and start getting points. But and in fairness, the thing about Gala, obviously they've been playing teams and around them. They've not really played a lot of the bigger teams, if you will, and Dalbeattie have had Kelty first week, then they had East Kilbride midweek, so it'll be interesting, but certainly for Gala it's looking good early season.
No, absolutely. I mean, yeah, like you just alluded to there, Dalbeattie, I mean, there's currently there's 5 teams that are sitting with 0 points in the league, and out of those 5 there's 3 teams with a worse goal difference than Dalbeattie Star, and like you say, they've played Kelty and East Kilbride already, and they've played against a Gala side that are doing a damn good job of proving they're strong. We expected a wee bit of a meltdown this season, in terms of the amount of change that's happened, but they've been right in there as well. But I wouldn't take it away from Dalbeattie. Some tough fixtures that Star have had to open up the season, and it's not going to get any easier when they face BSC next week, but we saw it from the match report there. Could they quite easily nicked a point at the end against a good Gala side? I think when they're pitted against your team sort of for 10 down come the end of the season, they're going to be able to pinch some wins, and I think they'll be comfortably above it. Facing Kelty, East Kilbride, BSC in week 4, and surprisingly good Gala side midweek fixture in there as well. I'm not too concerned for Dalbeattie at the moment. I still think they've got something to offer this season, and there's not much else to say on Gala than just a wee bit of eat my hat. They've proved they're strong a little bit here, and long may it continue, because I think we've got a bit of soft spot for all the teams in the league.
We're harsh from what we see. Obviously it's a result driven business, but it is good to be proven wrong sometimes. So we'll move on to East Stirlingshire versus Gretna 2008. East Stirlingshire won 9-1 at the Falkirk Stadium. 17 minutes in, Matty Flynn converts a Bobby Barr cross from the left. 39 minutes, it was 2-0 Shire. Bobby Barr finishes a move that started with Adam Murray in his own box, progressed through Horn, Dishington, Miller to Barr, who calmly slots home high into the net. 43 minutes, it was 3-0. Bobby Barr finishes a beautiful move for his second of the game and Shire's third. 44 minutes, Shire's Nicky Lowe volleys home from outside the box after a great run from Bobby Barr. 4-0 at half time. It didn't take them long to see more goals. 47th minute, Gretna came out and immediately found a way through Shire's defence with their first real attack of the game. Shire failed to clear the lines and the ball bounced around before being forced home by Callum Duke-Smith. 62 minutes, Shire's Matty Flynn finishes a delightful move. No stunning move as it was put by Shire's Twitter. Nicky Lowe from the centre of the pitch puts a slide pass through to Barr, who takes a touch and crosses for Flynn, who effortlessly sides foots it in for number 5. I guess, it's getting a bit, 64 minutes, it was 6-1. Mark Miller finishes a wonderful passing move. 65 minutes, pretty much straight from kick-off, Mark Miller makes it 7-1, with Shire saying that they can't keep up. I've certainly been there with Kelty as well. 67th minute, Dishington makes it 8-1. Simply fantastic football being played, and the passing is amazing. And just to round it off for Ning 1, 85th minute, Martin Orr finishes a lovely move again, involving some delightful passing. Ning 1, not great reading for Gretna, but I did see a bit of, obviously, Shire, certainly from the highlights of against Edinburgh Uni and stuff, but their passing was talked about in a lot of the interviews. I don't think they were pressing as much against Uni. I know they won 4-0 obviously midweek, but it seems to me like they were on point today against Gretna. Ning 1's a fantastic result. I've seen obviously all the goals and stuff, and the passing was fantastic. A lot of stuff going through Bobby Barr, as you would imagine, obviously a fantastic addition. But it's good to see the likes of Mark Miller doing well, and Matty Flynn, and the likes of Jamie Dishington. But yeah, fantastic from Shire. I think they would love more results like that. If they can get that consistency of them pressing in different phases, if they can play like that, like most games, then they're certainly going to be up there. But for Gretna, it was a wee bit of a capitulation, if you will. I mean, Ning 1, that's very, very concerning for Gretna. I think we all said that Gretna are probably going to be in the relegation battle. We all knew that Chris Humphrey was taking on a bit of a difficult job. Shire are obviously a good team, but that is to concede 9 a bit really concerning for a Gretna side, I would say.
Do you know what? If you're watching the highlights back a couple of times now, it could have been more. The way East Stirlingshire just seemed to dominate the game. Some of the play between some of these new guys that Shire have brought in, Matty Flynn, Bobby Barr in particular, the way they've played off of each other in that game. If we can see more of that over the rest of the season, they're going to be a side to be reckoned with. And I feel for some of the sides that are going to be sitting at the foot of the table, because I feel like it's going to be a bit of tit for tat with Kelty and Shire as far as some of these high scoring games go, because they have the firepower this season that they're able to do that. And it's just a bit worrying for Gretna here, because that's 3 games now where the results haven't probably been the pleasing, including taking no points against a 10-man Cali Braves side as well. Will be frustrating. It'll be interesting to see when some of these sides start to play the other teams, because Gretna have played several Cali Braves and Shire in their opening 3, which are by no means easy games. It's going to be interesting when we start to see some of these teams go up against each other, a bit more evenly matched, to see just what kind of situation your Gretnas and even your Berwicks are in. I was along at Alliance Park to watch Kelty against Cali Braves as well. It was another interesting game. Caledonian Braves coming off some impressive results, and Kelty obviously coming off of that 8-0 win against Dalbeattie a week before. It didn't take long though for Kelty to sort of state their intent. 7 minutes in, and it was Dylan Easton with a long range strike that opened the scoring. It took a knock off someone, but Dylan Easton was credited with a goal there. A couple of minutes later, and it was Nathan Austin again who basically was able to turn the defender, use his pace a little bit to make it 2 for Kelty. After 35 minutes, Ross McNeil was able to pull one back for Caledonian Braves. Currently, he's scored 4 in the opening 3 games as well, so they proved there that they've got a bit of firepower against a very good Kelty defence. 40 minutes in though, Easton was able to header home to make it 3-1 to Kelty. After that, Easton did go off, which was a wee bit of a concern for Kelty, which we can obviously touch on later on. At half time it was 3-1 to Kelty. They stayed out on the pitch due to it being a wee bit warm in the dressing room. After the restart, it took another sort of 20 minutes. It was 66 minutes that Danny Ash was able to get on the end of a Scott Linton corner to make it 4-1 to Kelty, and that was ultimately the final result. But yeah, overall it was another dominating result for Kelty. But Cali Braves, they were an impressive outfit as well, and they had a bit of fight in there from the get-go, even after going down by 2 after 10 minutes. A very good side, and they had their chances as the game went on. They were able to keep a very strong Kelty side in check for large parts of the game as well.
It's very strange to say that a team that got beat 4-1 impressed you, but I think me, yourself and Derek, who was also there, was, we're quite impressed by Caledonian Braves. We always knew it was going to be a struggle against Kelty. Obviously, they're tipped to be up there, for the title, amongst a few other teams. I thought Kelty dominated. I thought it could have been more. Nathan Austin was through a lot. There was a couple of shouts for a penalty. I think Gary Chen's one. He was held by Kyle Johnson, who was already on a yellow card. So it could, Caledonian Braves could have been down to 10 men. But to be honest, I was really, just really impressive stuff from Kelty. They were just lethal. I did wonder about, obviously, they stayed out at half time. I was thinking to myself, I know Barry's got high standards, but surely he's not given the Phil Brown treatment or something. But no, there was Thomas Riley obviously said that Caledonian Braves might have been a wee bit sneaky in putting the heating up in the changing room. So something along those lines, a bit of gamemanship, if you will. I've heard different stories of different teams doing that sort of thing, but
yeah, I'm sure it was just a wee mistake there. I'm sure they turned it the wrong way.
Yeah, Caledonian Braves, obviously Ross McNeil's going to score. He had a lot of chances, in fairness too, but the thing that impressed me most about Kelty, everyone really performed, and when they're attacking, it's almost strange to see, because it almost goes like a 2-4-4, and you think they're going to get caught out, but Murray Carstairs, he had a few blocks and a few tackles in. Danny Ash is obviously quite solid. Kelty are just strolling at the moment, and they're doing fantastically well. But yeah, Caledonian Braves, I certainly think my rating of them compared to Edisport last season, from what I've seen of them, I think they've got a better team, and I just don't know if they were ready for Kelty. I think had they been playing a wee bit further down the line in this season, I think it could have been a bit more interesting. But at the moment, there's this yourself, Shaun, there's a really good feel about Kelty at the moment, and the guys seem to be enjoying their football. I spoke to Danny after we got off the bus, because I noticed they were all screaming for air conditioning. Now I know why, when we got on the bus. So, but yeah, there's definitely a feel-good factor about Kelty at the moment, and there's nothing better when you're a footballer and you're playing with a smile on your face.
Yeah, I think there's a few teams in the league this season that have got that going on, which is part of the reason it's such an exciting season, I think.
Moving on to Spartans versus Edinburgh University at Ainsley Park. Spartans won 2-0. It only took 7 minutes. Dean Hoskins lobs a loose ball over the uni keeper from the edge of the box to make it 1-0 Spartans. The Spartans Twitter guy, obviously we know his name, Mark, said that he was loving the animation from the visiting technical area. Dorian Agunro giving it loudly to his fellow uni colleagues. So I don't know if he would have said it to his face, but a bit of fun Twitter banter there. The woodwork did wobble after it was hit by Adam Corbett's header from a corner. The resulting melee eventually sees the ball hoofed to safety by the students, but it was 1-0 at half time. 69th minute, it was a fantastic cross by Gregor Woods into the box, met by Cameron Dawson, who powers his header home. Mozza said that they were missing a target man. I'm only kidding. 88th minute, it's a red for Maguire, and Edinburgh Uni are down to 10 men after a foul on Jack Smith. Good to see that Ian McFarlane got the man of the match award for Spartans. Ian McFarlane's obviously really good in that Spartans midfield. We didn't really mention too much from last season in terms of looking at the midfield. I mean, there was a lot of candidates, but it certainly does a job for Spartans. I think it was a result that the Spartans really needed, but again, it's kind of concerning for Edinburgh Uni. They're up against a tough Spartan side. From what I saw against Shire, they had a couple of opportunities against Shire, but I think they're missing that bit in the final third to maybe get goals. That's where I would worry about Edinburgh Uni. If they can't seem to score goals and it looks like they're conceding a few goals as well, it's certainly worrying. It's certainly Dorian's got a bit of work to do, and hopefully he'll have a few guys coming in to resolve the issues in September.
It's one where I think you're always quite interested to find out what's going to happen with Edinburgh, because nobody really quite knows. They're quite they're keeping it all quite hush hush at the moment for what September is going to look like. But they definitely need a wee bit of firepower up there. Good to see Dorian get a wee bit of a shout out as well, because he is I've seen him a couple of times last season. He's very entertaining to see on the sidelines. He likes to give his own thoughts on how the game's going, quite vocally, which is always entertaining. It's good to see Spartans do what Spartans do best, and just a comfortable win, 2-0 against Edinburgh Uni. It's what all they needed to do, and I think we'll see a lot of that this season from a side that didn't really go daft in the transfer market. They've got their development. They've done really well with that. They're giving their guys a chance, and so far we're only a couple of games in, but they're doing the business so far. So I think I think both sides, it's an expected sort of result, the 2-0. A tough one for Vale, who haven't had the greatest starts as they welcomed the defending champs down to Innerleithen for this one. So for the first half an hour, they were able to keep it at 0-0. Wasn't too many chances at both sides, but after 42 minutes it was Holmes that was able to break through and get a shot away. It rattled off the post, and the top goal scorer from last season, Craig Malcolm, was right there to slot the rebound home to make it 1-0 to East Kilbride. Went in at half time with the scoreline 1-0. After the second half started, it was the 64th minute. It was Shaun who was able to slip the ball down the line to Rory Payton, who was able to beat the defender and cut the ball back to the edge of the box, where again that man Malcolm was there, and he was able to curl the ball into the top corner. Pretty comfortable win for East Kilbride, and in the 92nd minute they were able to knock it in to make it 3-0 to East Kilbride. That was the final score. Quite a convincing win for East Kilbride there. Another defeat for Vale is a bit disappointing, but do you know what? East Kilbride are a very strong side this season, so I'm not entirely sure that they'll be overly concerned about not taking any points against the defending champs.
Yeah, definitely a really decent win for East Kilbride. Obviously Ross Kavanagh getting the third goal there was really good to see, because we mentioned it last weekend, obviously, with the Paul Thompson saying about firepower, so it's good to see another striker get a goal. And from what I've seen, Rory Payton's doing really well there. He seems to be building a really effective partnership with Craig Malcolm up front. They've maybe not, had their 8-0s or their 9-1s like Shire or Kelty, but I think it'll come. I really do. I think Rory Payton's looking really dangerous. He looks a wee bit fitter from what I've seen in highlights than he did maybe at Gala last season. No worries for East Kilbride. Obviously, they're certainly going to be up there in terms of teams. Vale, even on the other hand, they've brought in a lot of obviously a couple of guys from the Spartans under 20s. Josh Wishart's went on loan from Spartans. My concern at the start of the season for them, although I do believe they've got a better side, I don't know how better it is compared to other teams that have improved as well. So I do worry a wee bit about Vale. They've got quite a young squad. I mean, they've got a few experienced players like Ger Rossi and Paul Thompson, but we'll have to wait and see with Vale. I mean, they've not had it easy so far. Obviously the midweek game against Gala was a bit of a demoraliser as well, but their fight's not going to be with East Kilbride. I think when they come up against like Dalbeattie and maybe a Gretna, at the moment anyway, it'll be interesting to see what the result is. But certainly Ando's got a wee bit of work to do in terms of gelling the guys there, but we'll wait and see. It's early days. We don't want to be too critical. So.
And obviously we're going to get on to next week's fixtures as well, and there's a few exciting ties coming up. I don't know if you've had a chance to have a look at a game of the week, but there's a few in there that definitely look quite interesting for next week, and a lot of sides playing teams that we're kind of projecting will finish near each other. So
we'll start with the Tunnocks Caramel Wafer Challenge Cup Tuesday and Wednesday fixtures. We'll probably just do them in a wee bit of a block because I don't really have too much to say on individual fixtures, because Colts teams you just really don't know enough really because we'll start with Tuesday's fixtures at St Mirren Colts versus East Kilbride at St Mirren Stadium, Kelty Hearts versus Kilmarnock Colts at New Central Park, and the Wednesday fixtures are Motherwell Colts versus Spartans at Excelsior Stadium, and Hamilton Academical Colts versus BSC Glasgow at New Douglas Park. The reason I've kind of joined these all together is because, like I mentioned, the Colts teams are a wee bit hard to predict because most of the Premiership players, in terms of youth, if they're, sometimes their better players get loaned out to other teams and up the leagues, and sometimes in the Lowland League, obviously, but. I wouldn't surprise me if some of the Colts teams obviously put out some of the Lowland League teams, and the reason I say that is because we obviously know it's young guys up against pretty much men and stuff, but they're good enough to be playing for a Premiership team essentially, or in their youth teams essentially. So I'm not expecting. I wouldn't say I'm not expecting Lowland League teams to go through, but I'm still expecting it to be a tough challenge, even for the likes of Kelty Hearts and East Kilbride. All the teams really. What are your thoughts, Shaun?
Yeah, I totally agree with what you've said. I think the under 21 sides for these SPL sides they're very good. I got a chance to see a little bit of Dunfermline's Colts side in pre-season when they came to play against Kelty, and they're pretty good and pretty talented, and they've been put in this cup competition because they've got an opportunity. There was even talk at points about putting these squads into the Lowland League. That's what they were pushing for, and I don't think they'd do that if they didn't think they were good enough. I would be surprised to see all the Lowland League sides make it through, but do you know what, if they can make it through, there's some interesting ties that'll come in the next round for these Lowland League sides if we can get through.
Weekend games, we'll start with Bonnyrigg Rose versus East Stirlingshire at New Dundas Park. A bit of maybe revenge for East Stirlingshire in their mind after the cup game last season. Definitely not an easy place to go, New Dundas Park, and I think if Bonnyrigg have any sort of intention to go for the title, certainly we probably don't rate them as high as that. Not their first season in the league. But certainly that's going to be a sort of telling one if they can get a result against an informed Shire team that have aspirations for the Lowland League title.
Yeah, no, I'd agree. I think this will be a more challenging one for East Stirlingshire, but I think it's still one that they should be able to win against a Bonnyrigg side that are still finding their feet in the league. Do you know what? I wouldn't be surprised if Bonnyrigg were able to pinch something, but I think for what I've seen so far, I think Shire are going to be too strong for them, and I do think that last season, that cup game, it was quite heated, a couple of red cards at the end of the game, so I wouldn't be surprised if there is a wee bit of element of sort of revenge, and Bonnyrigg might get a bit frustrated by not dominating as much as they did in that game last season. So it'll be an interesting one, but I think Shire should be able to still come away with 3 points, and with the way that Kelty and East Kilbride are, I think they're going to need to.
BSC Glasgow versus Dalbeattie Star at the Indoor Stadium. I feel a wee bit sorry for Dalbeattie. They do have a really hard opening few fixtures. It was the same last season, obviously, and I think BSC Glasgow will want to get back to winning ways after that defeat against Colts, and they're a wee bit fresher, having played on the Friday, so I can only see BSC winning that, really. Yeah,
it doesn't get any better for Dalbeattie Star at this point, which is sad to say, but do you know what, maybe they'll surprise us a little bit, but I agree with you. Everything we've said today about BSC and the fact that, do you know what, they might not have taken as many points as they'd have liked to, however, it's early in the season and they've played some very good sides. This will be one where they expect to take 3 points and they'll be wanting to do it comfortably. And unfortunately for Dalbeattie, they're going to be the side, I think, on the other. They're going to be the team on the other side of that from BSC.
East Kilbride versus Caledonian Braves at K Park. I'm not going to say it's going to be easy for East Kilbride because Caledonian Braves, they did impress us, is what I'm trying to say. I think East Kilbride will still get the win. I think it's going to be interesting to see if they do as well as Kelty did against Braves. I think there's going to be a lot of comparisons between the likes of East Kilbride, Kelty and Shire at the top anyway, but I certainly would give EK the edge in that one, but it could be interesting with the Ross McNeil factor. I'm pretty sure he would love to score against his former team in that one.
No, absolutely. I actually think I could see this one finishing in a draw. I think just the way Cali have been and after last week, I think they'll want to go out there. Obviously, I won't be surprised if East Kilbride are able to take care of this. If Cali do want to win, they've got to get past Alan Martin, which is proved to be not an easy task so far, but I've kind of got this one down in my mind as finishing as a draw, and that's no disrespect to East Kilbride. I just think Cali are better than the result on Saturday there kind of makes it look.
Certainly as we mentioned, obviously I think Ross McNeil could have certainly had a few more Murray Carstairs, as I mentioned, last ditch tackles and all that stuff. I thought he was brilliant, but it could be an interesting one to look out for. But my match of the week is going to be between Edinburgh University versus Vale of Leven, two teams that desperately need a win at East Peffermill. This one interests me simply because the points that are up for grabs early doors here could determine a lot later in the season. I think that's why I'm going to make it my game of the week. I don't know your thoughts, Shaun, but for me that's a 6-pointer, a really, really, really early 6-pointer for both teams.
I think it's a cracking choice. It's one of the two games between two sides with no points. And out of the two, I think you've hit the nail on the head that these will be big points. We saw it with Whitehill last season, or even Dalbeattie, with how important the 3 points could prove to be. And you know what? I couldn't even pick a winner for this. I think it could go either way, and both sides will go into this one knowing that they need 3 points. But obviously, there's only 3 points to go out, so somebody's going to leave a bit disappointed. But a cracking choice for game of the week, I think.
Yep, Gala Ferradine Rovers versus Spartans. This is also another interesting one because Gala have started the season fairly well. Spartans will still want to be one of the top teams in the Lowland League. I don't know what their aspirations are title-wise, but certainly I think it would be a cracking result if Spartans went away to the Nidderdale and got something. But I don't think it's going to be easy because Gal have started the season really well. To pick a winner, I think it's hard for me to pick a winner in this one. I think all the factors, and I would probably still give the edge to Spartans, but Gala, I'm pretty sure, did beat Spartans at the Nidderdale last season, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat as you. I think it's a very tough tie, but I'm going to put it out there for Gala to prove me wrong again. And I'm going to say Spartans for the win here. I think they need to get themselves at the table a little bit, but I've been a bit mean to Gala this season, and do you know what? I'll not be surprised if they do go out and give me a bit of the middle finger and steal the win. They're at home. Nidderdale's not an easy place to go, and so far, they've got off to a far better start than I was anticipating. So, my pick Spartans.
Gretna 2008 versus Berwick Rangers at Raydale Park. This is the other game, obviously, that both teams haven't picked up anything so far. Berwick Rangers really need to win this, and I think they will. I think they'll pick up their first 3 points. I think Gretna are still gelling. I know Berwick Rangers are too, but I think maybe Berwick Rangers are a wee bit further along than Gretna are at the moment. Again, I do like Gretna. I think they're going to take a wee bit more time compared to Berwick Rangers, and I think Berwick Rangers desperately certainly after the reaction of the Stirling Uni game, probably need it a wee bit more. It's a bit weird to say that considering Gretna were beating Ningwon off Shire, but to me I think Berwick need it a wee bit more to prove everyone wrong.
No, you've definitely got to say Berwick. They definitely do need this one, but for Gretna, a team that we've kind of projected are going to be in that relegation battle, if there's ever a time to come against Berwick, it's probably now. They're a bit weaker. There's going to be frustrations in that side after not making the start that they wanted. They're going to want to go out there and try and steal a point or potentially 3 at home as well. I'd be the same as you. I'd give the edge purely based on the fact that Berwick need the 3 points here, just to appease their fans and also some of the guys in the locker room, no doubt as well. But yeah, I think Gretna still. I think they're going to go out looking for the 3 points in this one as well, 100%.
Kelty Hearts versus Civil Service Strollers at New Central Park. I think there's only one. I think Kelty Hearts are going to win it. From what I've seen of them, as I mentioned, feel good factor and stuff. I think it is interesting. Obviously, they're playing against Kilmarnock Colts on the Tuesday, but they've got enough squad depth that I think they could probably play around with it and still be sort of successful. Strollers are going to be up there in terms of teams this season as well, but I just don't think they're as good enough compared to Kelty Hearts from what I've seen so far.
No, if you were to reverse the fixture and put it at Christy Gillis Park, I'd be a bit more hesitant because I think Civil, they've got a little bit of something about them, but the fact that it's at New Central Park, spirits are, like you pointed out earlier, they're quite high at Kelty at the moment. I think it's going to be a tough day out for Civil. They might go and prove me wrong, but yeah, I'd give Kelty the edge here. And I think the midweek fixture, I don't know, I've not seen anything yet, but I don't think it'll have too much of a bearing on the weekend. I think the league is a priority for the club. It'll be the same with a couple of clubs in the Lowland League, and I think they'll set their team sheets up that way so that they've got their guys at the weekend who can go out and do the business in the league. And
to our final fixture, another potential cracker actually, University of Stirling versus Cumbernauld Colts at Forthbank. Cumbernauld Colts, we mentioned, had a really, really great start to the season, and University of Stirling coming off that really good result against Berwick Rangers. Say what you will about that. I'd probably give Colts the edge because they're doing so well, but University of Stirling, I know people know I've got a wee bit of a soft spot for University of Stirling as well, but my head I'll probably give Colts the edge a wee bit, I would say in that. Yeah, I would absolutely agree with that. I think Stirling are a good outfit, but Colts have made a strong start, and I think they're going to have enough at this point in the season going against a sort of weakened Uni side, which is a bit scary to say after the start that Stirling Uni have made. But yeah, I think Cumbernauld Colts should be able to win this one. But again, I wouldn't be surprised. As I've said, I think for almost every fixture, if Stirling can pull a point or 3 out of this one. Cool. So that is the fixtures of the week of the Lowland League. We will move on to plugs. Do you want to go first, Shaun?
Absolutely. So you can obviously find me on Twitter at Sped and Shaun, but I also do the Facebook page, so you can find us on there at Lowland League Catchup. And what about yourself, Chris?
At Rampant FM on Twitter, and you can find the Lowland League Catchup at Official Catchup on Twitter. I did announce it obviously on Twitter, and I think this time last year that me and Moza sat down and recorded our first catch up. So it's been a year. It's been a fast year. Obviously, you've came on board as well, Shaun. You've helped us out, and then obviously there's been a lot of people helping us out, and we've had chats with so many players and people sort of in the background, gaffers, coaches, Bill Sharp at East Stirlingshire. We've obviously had our chats and at training grounds with the Colts in East Stirlingshire. You just really want to thank for everyone for their fantastic support. We will be ramping up the interviews. I know I had one for last week. There was none this week, but I need to actually discuss it with a few of the clubs that are getting interviews, see if we can maybe get them involved more with the catch up. But certainly a lot of the guys are doing their own YouTube thing as well, so I would probably urge people to subscribe to the club's YouTubes that do highlights and stuff as well to give it a listen. But yeah, it's saying we've probably not started, we've not sorted out yet, but we're obviously going to be speaking to the clubs to get a bit more involvement, get them a bit more attention as well, if raise awareness as well in terms of that thing. But yeah, we want to thank everyone that supported us throughout the year. It's going to be another incredible season. It's quite exciting. Obviously, the under-20s season kicks off at the end of the month as well, which will give a wee bit coverage. I know we gave some coverage to last season, so hopefully we can get a bit more involvement in that. But other than that, yeah, thanks for the support. We want to thank obviously the league, George Fraser, the clubs, everyone that really gets involved, listens in, and people that ask questions like Ryan Norrie today as well. Until next week, we'll see you soon.